The worst slavery is believing you are free. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Before we begin, here's a small ritual. Write in the comments one word that accurately describes your current state. Sign it and let's get started. You are not in chains, but you are not free. The system doesn't crush anymore, it entertains. It offers you soft pillows, sweet sounds, endless scrolling, bright pictures. It feeds you dopamine and calls it life. Every day, you feel a bit more tired, but there's always something new to watch, something to bite, something to scroll. And so you stay, and so you sink. The world looks friendly, clean, digital. It welcomes you with perfect faces, smooth words, and instant comfort. It whispers, "Relax, you've earned it." And you do. One more episode, one more snack, one more like. You laugh at jokes you didn't search for. You watch videos you didn't choose. You eat what was designed to addict. You think you are living, mother, but you are being lived. They don't need to lock you in a room. They give you a screen. They don't need to punish. They reward you into silence. Every hit of pleasure is another chain on your spine. You get numb, soft, slow. You call it peace, but it's paralysis. You don't scream, you don't resist, you scroll. And the system grows stronger with every second of your attention. They sold you comfort to take your clarity. They gave you likes to take your self-worth. They filled your day with distractions so you'd forget your own voice. You don't even ask why you feel empty because you're always full of something. Sugar, noise, images, motion. There's always something in your hands, but nothing in your soul. You think you're choosing, but you are chosen. Every button you press was designed to be irresistible. Every platform you use was built to make you stay just a little longer, and then forever. You are not browsing. You are being programmed, bit by bit, swipe by swipe. They've made slavery addictive. You keep coming back for more. You feel guilt, but not enough. You feel pain, but not clear. You feel lost, but you've learned to laugh at your own disconnection. So you keep going. Because stopping would mean seeing, and seeing would mean changing. And changing hurts. You don't feel the knife because it's velvet. You don't feel the poison because it's sweet. You call it just passing time, but time is passing you. Your strength is fading while you chase shadows. Your fire goes cold while you pretend everything's fine. But deep down, something knows. Something inside you remembers how it felt to be wild, to be awake, to be present. Not chasing a screen, not eating your pain, not drowning in comfort. That part of you, the real one, is not dead, just buried, sedated. You were made to create, to move, to fight, to love, to see clearly. But instead, you're calm, entertained, always busy, always tired. And they call this life. You smile for photos. You post your moments. You perform your days. But inside, you're not living. You're performing death in slow motion. This isn't freedom. This is a zoo. And the worst part? The cage is invisible, made of shiny things, made of pleasure, made of comfort. So you don't want to escape. You want more. More hits, more content, more numbness. But the truth stands still. You are rotting with a smile, and you call it living. The system doesn't need guards. It has pleasure. It doesn't scream. It seduces. You are not chained. You are rewarded. The trap is chemical. Small hits, tiny sparks, just enough to keep you chasing. You open the app. You scroll. You see something funny, something shocking, something hot. Dopamine. Again, you scroll more. The brain gets a drip of satisfaction, and then a craving. So you keep going and going. You feel like you're choosing, but it's not you. It's the loop, the design, the trap. Games, food, porn, fast shows, endless swipes, all different masks of the same thing. Instant stimulation, a flood of quick highs that leave you empty inside. You feel alive for a second, then cold, then hungry for more. So you chase again. But the second hit never feels like the first, and the third feels even less. So you go deeper. This is how you get hooked. Not by accident, by architecture, built by engineers who know exactly what chemicals to target. You are not a user. You are a subject in an experiment that never ends. The porn is free, but the cost is your energy, your drive, your depth. The food is fast, but the cost is your clarity, your body, your discipline. The shows are fun, but the cost is your presence, your rest, your sleep. Nothing comes for free. You are paying with your soul. Each time you choose easy pleasure, you weaken the muscle that could make you free. Each click is a vote, not for joy, but for escape. You are not enjoying. You are running. Running from boredom, from stillness, from silence. But silence is the only place truth can grow. You laugh at your addiction. You say, "It's not that bad," but you can't stop. And that's the point. You are not in control. The cravings are. They whisper when you wake up. They follow you to work. They sit with you when you're alone. They feed you when you're sad. They take your hand and say, "Just one more." And you believe them. Again and again and again. You forget how to wait. You forget how to sit still. You forget how to feel. You forget how to want something real because you've trained your brain to need it now, right now. No effort, no time, no meaning. Just hit me. You think this is normal, but it's not. It's war. A war against your focus, your will, your depth. And every time you give in, you lose a piece of yourself. You don't notice because it's small. But one day, you look in the mirror and don't see someone alive. You see someone surviving. Barely. The system doesn't care if you're broken, as long as you're still clicking. But there's a way out. And it begins with pain. The pain of stopping. The pain of facing yourself without the drug. The pain of sitting in the silence you've avoided. That pain is real. But behind it, there's life. You are not meant to be a zombie. You are not meant to be numb. You are not meant to be on a leash made of pleasure. The dopamine you chase is not your friend. It's your cage. And every escape begins with one word: enough. You thought you were just watching, just scrolling, just checking in for a second. But the screen was never neutral. It studied you. It watched what made you pause, what made you feel, what made you want more. And then it gave you more. Not to serve you, to shape you. The algorithm doesn't care about truth. It cares about engagement. It shows you what keeps your eyes open, what feeds your emotions, what makes your heart beat faster. Outrage, lust, fear, envy, disgust, jealousy, these are not accidents, these are tools, and your brain is their playground. You don't just see content, you are being conditioned, trained, bit by bit. The algorithm shows you what will keep you coming back, not what will make you better. And the longer you stay, the deeper the wiring goes. Until you think those thoughts are yours, but they're not. They were fed to you. You don't look for what matters. You look for what's easy, what's loud, what hits. And that's the point. The system doesn't want thinkers. It wants reactors. It doesn't want awareness. It wants attention. And attention is currency. Your eyes are the gold. Your outrage is the engine. So you're not just scrolling. You're being sculpted into a consumer, into a follower, into a perfect product of the feed. You start speaking like the clips you hear, moving like the trends you mimic, wanting what you're shown, needing what they feed you. It feels natural, but it's not. It's programming. You were not made to know 1,000 opinions in a single hour. You were not meant to see perfect bodies, perfect lives, perfect everything. Every second of your day, it crushes you slowly, makes you feel less, makes you feel behind, makes you feel broken, even when you're not. And when you feel that crack, the algorithm is ready with another post, another distraction, another dose of noise to cover the silence that's trying to wake you up. And you take it. Because silence hurts now. Stillness feels wrong. Peace feels boring. You are trained to avoid yourself. They don't need to censor you. They flood you with so much noise, so much stimulation, so much nonsense that you lose your own signal. You don't even know what you believe anymore. You just absorb, react, repeat. And all the while, you think it's your voice, but it's not. You're echoing scripts, echoing rage, echoing desires that were planted in you. You think you're choosing, but your choices were framed for you. The algorithm isn't just showing you the world, it's showing you your world. A carefully designed illusion that keeps you trapped inside yourself. And the scariest part? It works. You keep coming back, even when you hate it, even when it drains you, even when it steals your time, your focus, your sleep, your energy. You still return, because deep down, your nervous system is hooked. And now, discomfort feels like death. But real growth always starts with discomfort. The system is smart. It knows what you want before you do. It builds your cage with your own cravings. It feeds your ego, your wounds, your fears, and then it calls it connection. But it's not connection, it's control. To be free, you must become dangerous. Dangerous to the loop, dangerous to the script, dangerous to the programming. You do that by remembering who watches who. You do that by turning off the noise, by deleting what weakens you, by choosing what strengthens, even when it hurts. When you stop letting them decide what you see, what you think, what you desire, they lose, and you begin to win. You don't need more content, you need more silence. You don't need more updates, you need more presence. You don't need more screens, you need yourself back. The algorithm is not your friend. If you don't control your feed controls you. It begins small. A bit of sugar to feel better. A quick scroll to escape the moment. A few minutes of porn to release the pressure. A short game to switch off the mind. You tell yourself, it's nothing. Just a break. Just this one time. Just to relax. But it's not just. It's not small. It's not harmless. Because you're not doing it from freedom. You're doing it from pain, from boredom, from anxiety, from emptiness. And the more you run from that discomfort, the more it grows. You feed it, you grow it, and over time, it becomes your master. Addiction doesn't always look like a needle. Sometimes it looks like snacks, reels, casual sex, constant music in your ears, or the need to always have something playing in the background. It's anything you can't be without. Anything you can't stop, even when you want to. Anything that whispers, just one more. The system is built on this. Your weakness is their profit. Your pain is their opportunity. Your silence is a threat, so they fill your life with noise, with options, with fake pleasures. They want you hooked on speed, on excitement, on flavor, on images. Because a hooked person doesn't rebel. A hooked person doesn't ask why. A hooked person obeys. So you become a customer of your own destruction. The porn drains your fire. The games drain your drive. The food dulls your instincts. The series numb your dreams. The phone breaks your focus. The loop keeps spinning. You don't even know who you are without it. You've forgotten. You've forgotten how to sit with your own breath, how to stare at the sky, how to hear your own thoughts, how to be with yourself, raw and sober. You think you need it to cope, but the truth is, you need it because you've forgotten how to feel. You've learned to soothe instead of heal, escape instead of face, sedate instead of grow. You don't need discipline, you need truth. You don't need to be harder on yourself. You need to be honest. Honest about what's making you weak. Honest about what you can't stop. Honest about how long you've been hiding. Because it's not the porn that breaks you. It's what it takes from you. It steals your edge, your masculinity, your depth, your focus. It takes the part of you that fights, the part that loves fiercely, the part that stays awake, and it replaces it with empty pleasure and shame. It's not the food that kills you, it's the numbness after, the bloated mind, the heavy soul, the lost control, the feeling that your body is no longer yours, but a trash bin for your pain. It's not the scrolling, it's what you miss while you scroll. The real life that slips past your numb fingers. The eyes you don't meet. The silence you don't hear. The power you don't feel. The lie is that these things help, that they're just coping tools, that you need them to survive. But survival is not life. Survival is crawling. And you are made to walk upright, to stand, to move with fire in your chest and truth in your gut. You don't heal addiction by adding more. You heal it by subtraction, by taking away the fake comfort and facing the storm. The silence, the truth. You tremble, you shake, you scream inside. But then you start to feel, really feel. And that's when you begin to rise. You stop being a slave. You start being a warrior. You take back your body. You take back your breath. You look at your hands and realize they are weapons. Not for destruction, but for creation. You are not here to consume. You are here to build, to shape, to awaken. Every time you resist the urge, you win. Every time you sit in the tension, you grow. Every time you look your addiction in the face and say, "No more," you remember who you are. You are not your cravings. You are not your habits. You are not your past. You are the one who decides, and the power is yours. The moment you stop running. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest, consistent, willing to suffer through the fire to taste freedom on the other side. Because the cost of addiction is not just your energy, it's your soul. And your soul is worth the pain it takes to get it back. You wake up tired, not because you didn't sleep, but because you didn't rest. Your mind is still full. Your soul is still heavy. You reach for the phone before your feet touch the ground. Another day begins or continues in the same blur, the same noise, the same rituals of escape. Everything feels familiar. Everything feels fine, but nothing feels real. There is a strange numbness under your skin, a silent ache. You smile when needed. You nod when expected. You play the part, you wear the mask, and you've worn it for so long, you forgot it was a mask. They told you who to be: productive, funny, attractive, smart, easy to like, always online, always connected, always okay. So you became what they wanted. You fit in, you were approved, you got the validation. But every time you became what they needed, you lost what you were. Now, you don't even know what that is. The real you is buried under layers of roles, reactions, and responses. You feel like a stranger in your own skin, like you're living someone else's life, doing things you didn't choose, chasing things you don't care about, responding to things that drain you, and calling that being alive. The truth is darker. You are collapsing from the inside. You feel it when you're alone. That sense of hollowness, of being busy but empty, of being surrounded but unseen. You look in the mirror and there's no fire in the eyes. Just movement, just function, just someone performing the idea of a person. This is what the system wants. Not dead bodies, but dead souls inside living shells. You go to work, you make money, you post content, you keep scrolling, you keep shopping, you keep consuming, all while your inner world is quietly falling apart. Because when you forget who you are, you're easier to manage. The more distracted you are, the less dangerous. The more addicted you are, the less free. The more broken you are, the more you rely on what they sell to feel okay again. So they keep feeding you pleasure and calling it healing. But it's not healing, it's sedation. They want you tame, pleased, comfortable, passive. They want you to avoid the pain of facing your truth, because your truth is explosive. Your truth is wild. Your truth breaks patterns and burns illusions. And that kind of person cannot be owned. So they train you to stay soft, numb, controlled by likes, fed by sugar, pacified by porn, distracted by drama, always feeling something, but never really feeling. You scroll past the war in your chest. You mute the scream in your gut. You click through the moments when your spirit tries to rise, because you've forgotten how to listen, how to stop, how to look pain in the eye and say, speak. And so the self collapses slowly, like a city losing power block by block. First your passion, then your clarity, then your voice, then your courage, until one day all that's left is function. You move, but you don't live. You speak, but you don't mean it. You touch, but you don't feel. But there's a crack in the system, a place where the light still leaks in. It's the restlessness, the inner revolt, the ache in your chest that says, this isn't it. That part of you that hasn't given up, that still remembers the sound of your real voice, even if it's faint. That voice is your weapon, your seed, your rebellion. It says you don't need to be what they made you. You can strip the mask, you can burn the role, you can rise even if you're shaking. You don't need to be sure. You don't need to be liked. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. To rebuild the self, you have to go through the ashes. You have to fall out of their world to return to yours. That means choosing discomfort, choosing silence, choosing truth, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Because the pain is the doorway. The collapse is the call. You were never meant to be normal. You were meant to be alive. Not scrolling, not copying, not pleasing, but living. Wild, sharp, free, real. So if you feel like you're falling apart, let it happen. Let it burn. The version of you that was built by the system must die, so the version born from your own fire can finally breathe. There comes a point where nothing works anymore. Not the scrolling, not the shows, not the sugar, not even the lies you tell yourself. You feel it deep in your chest. Something old is dying. Something false is cracking. It's not depression. It's not burnout. It's the system inside you breaking down. The obedient version of you is dying. The one who played by the rules, who smiled when they said to smile, who nodded, performed, adjusted, stayed quiet, stayed soft. That version is not you. It was never you. It was built, trained, installed, and now it's falling apart. This is not a breakdown. It's a breaking open. You don't want to go back to the old ways, but you don't know how to go forward. You feel stuck between two worlds, the fake comfort behind you and the wild unknown ahead. You want clarity, but all you get is chaos. You want peace, but all you feel is rage. Good. That's how it starts. The rage means the fire is waking up. The pain means the shell is cracking. The confusion means the map is burning. You are not supposed to have answers right now. You are supposed to feel, to see, to let go. Everything the system taught you about success, happiness, value, identity is being questioned, not with words, but with silence, with your body, with your soul. You're beginning to notice how fake it all feels, how loud, how hollow. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You start deleting apps. You stop responding. You cancel plans. You say no without explaining. You sleep more. You eat less or more. You cry at strange times. You stare at the ceiling. You sit with your thoughts. You stop trying to be useful. You start trying to be true. It scares people. They think you're lost, broken, lazy. But they don't see the war inside. The war between who you've been told to be and who you actually are. That war is sacred. It's not weakness, it's birth. This is the death of the obedient self. The self that said yes when it meant no. The self that feared silence more than lies. The self that chased approval instead of truth. That self cannot come with you. That self must be buried with full honesty, with full grief, with full fire. It's not a clean death. It's messy. It's lonely. You might isolate. You might scream. You might cut off people who never really saw you. You might destroy the image you built for years, just to breathe for the first time. And it's worth it. Because under that old skin, something real lives, something wild, something raw, something ancient. The part of you that never fit. The part that asked deeper questions. The part that didn't want comfort. It wanted truth. You are not meant to exist as a product. You are not a page, not a brand, not a profile. You are a storm, a silence, a soul. You were not born to serve the machine. You were born to shatter it with your aliveness. But to do that, you have to lose everything they gave you. The fake identity, the fake strength, the fake pride, the fake path. You burn it all. You feel the panic. You feel the emptiness. You feel like dying. Because in a way, you are. And what comes next is not built. It is remembered. You begin to hear your own voice again. Not the reactive one, not the performing one, the still one, the real one. The voice beneath all noise. It says things like, rest now. Get up. Speak the truth. You don't need them. You are enough. It speaks in few words, but it never lies. This is how the new self is born. Not from books, not from affirmations, from silence, from fire, from death. You die to the system, and in that death, you meet life. They wanted you obedient, controlled, predictable. But now, you are none of those things. You are dangerous because you see. You are free because you let it all burn. You are alive because you dared to die. And that is the first step to becoming untouchable. After the fire, there is silence. No motivation, no purpose, no light. You wake up and feel nothing. You don't want to run, don't want to scroll, don't want to perform, but you don't want to move forward either. It's not peace, it's emptiness, a heavy kind of stillness, like you're floating in space with no direction. This is not depression. This is the void after the destruction, the in-between, when the old self is gone, but the new one hasn't arrived. The phase where everything that used to matter doesn't, and everything that could matter isn't clear yet. The dark night of the soul isn't poetic. It's brutal. It strips you. It takes your cravings, your idols, your routines, your false identities, and it leaves you with one thing, yourself, raw, unmasked, no filters, no distractions. Just you, in the dark, breathing. This is the part no one talks about. Because it's not beautiful. It's not inspiring. It's cold, quiet, lonely. It doesn't feel like progress. It feels like disappearing, like vanishing from the world you once knew, and not being sure if you want to return. The people around you might worry. They'll say, "You've changed." And they're right. You've stopped pretending. You've stopped playing along. You've stopped chasing things that made you sick. But they don't see that. They only see the silence. And silence makes people uncomfortable. But you are not here to comfort others anymore. You are here to meet yourself. In the dark, your demons visit. The ones you avoided for years. The shame, the guilt, the things you thought were gone, come back louder than ever. Not to punish you, to be faced, to be heard. They are not here to destroy you. They are the pieces of your soul that got left behind. You sit with them, you breathe through them, you listen. And in the middle of all that darkness, you begin to feel something else. Not pleasure, not stimulation, something deeper. Stillness, real stillness. Not the fake calm you forced when watching videos to escape your mind, but real, terrifying peace. This peace doesn't rush. It doesn't entertain. It doesn't distract. It simply exists. And the longer you stay with it, the more you begin to trust it. You realize you are still here, even without the noise, even without the cravings, even without the false sense of purpose. You begin to feel again, slowly, gently, a little hunger, a little curiosity, a little strength. Not the fake energy you used to chase, real energy, grounded, rooted. It comes from inside, not from screens or sugar or performance. You start noticing beauty in silence, power in solitude. You realize you don't need constant input to feel alive. In fact, that constant input was keeping you dead inside. Now, without it, there's space. And in that space, something new begins to grow. A different kind of fire, quiet but steady. Not a craving, a calling. Not urgency, presence. The system has no power here because there's nothing left to control, no addiction to trigger, no mask to manipulate, no hunger to hijack. You've sat with your pain. You've walked through the silence. You've survived the void. You are no longer running. You are no longer sedated. You are no longer acting. You are simply here, breathing, awake. And that is where freedom begins. Not in what you do, but in what you no longer need. After the collapse, after the silence, something shifts. It doesn't shout. It doesn't rush. It arrives slowly, like the first breath after drowning, like sunlight on skin that forgot warmth. You don't even notice it at first, but it's there. A new presence, a new rhythm. You no longer need constant noise. You no longer reach for your phone the moment you feel alone. You don't panic when nothing's happening. You've stopped feeding the hunger that was never real, because now you know how to be still. This stillness is not laziness. It's power, the kind of power the system fears. Because stillness means you're not reacting, you're not obeying, you're not playing, you're watching, you're sensing, you're choosing, slowly, consciously. And from that space, nothing can trick you. The dopamine claws are still there sometimes, a temptation, a whisper. But now you see it, you feel it, you don't judge it, you just don't follow it. Because the fire inside is stronger than the craving. You begin to move differently, speak less, hear more. Your words carry weight now, because they come from depth, not from noise. Your eyes look clear. You're not selling yourself anymore. You're not chasing approval. You're not reaching for attention. People notice. Some are drawn to it. Others are afraid. You've stopped performing. That makes you unpredictable. And unpredictable means free. They can't label you, can't provoke you, can't guilt you. You're not fighting them. You've simply stopped playing the game. You begin to rebuild slowly, from truth, from presence. You choose what you allow into your space. You cut what drains you. You return to your body. You eat with care. You sleep with peace. You breathe like it matters, because it does. Everything becomes simpler. Fewer needs, fewer people, fewer lies, more clarity, more truth, more breath. This is not the old version of you, improved. This is someone else, someone born from fire, someone born from silence, someone the system cannot predict and therefore cannot control. Because now you know you don't need the things you once couldn't live without. You don't need stimulation to feel alive. You don't need permission to be whole. You just need presence. And presence comes when you stop running. This is how freedom feels. Not loud, not grand, not dramatic, just still, solid, real, and finally, well, yours. Now you walk differently. You don't explain yourself. You don't chase. You don't hide. You've seen what the system really is. Not a structure, but a seduction. Not a prison with walls, but a fog that lives inside you. And you walked through it. You felt the fire. You stayed in the silence. You died to who you were. And now you belong to no one. Not to the feed. Not to the noise. Not to the cheap highs. Not to the loop of fake pleasure. You've stepped out. And from the outside, everything looks small. Loud, yes, but powerless. Because you are no longer hooked. And that makes you untouchable. You don't need the algorithm to feel seen. You don't need porn to feel alive. You don't need sugar to comfort your pain. You don't need to scroll away your silence. You are finally real, finally here. But freedom is not a gift. It's a practice. Every day, the system will try to crawl back in. Through boredom, through pain, through comfort. You must be ready, grounded, armed. And so here it is. Not advice, not theory, but 5 real tools. 5 weapons to keep your soul clean. 5 actions that break chains. Pattern 1. Remove triggers from your space. Delete the apps. Turn off notifications. Remove every portal that leads back to the addiction. Don't negotiate. Don't wait until you're stronger. Strength comes after the cut. You don't fight temptation by testing your willpower. You fight it by removing the door. 2. Sit with discomfort every single day. Don't run, don't scroll, don't eat it, feel it, stay with it. Set a timer. 5 minutes, 10, just sit. Breathe. Let the wave come and pass. Every time you stay, instead of escaping, your nervous system rewires. Discomfort is not danger, it's training. 3. Move your body hard every day. Walk, run, lift, sweat. Let your body carry what your mind can't hold. Addiction lives in stagnant energy. Motion burns it. You're not just building strength, you're releasing chains. Let pain leave through your breath and skin. 4. Write every morning. No screen, just paper. Write what you feel, what you fear, what you want. Let the noise spill out. Your truth is buried under digital chaos. You'll only hear it when you let your own voice speak first. Every morning, before the world enters your head, clear it. 5. Build a new ritual of power. Replace the loop. Same time of day, same old trigger, but a new response. Cold shower, breath work, stretching in silence. Read something deep. Create something small. Rituals create rhythm. Rhythm creates stability. Stability breaks cycles. You don't need to fix everything at once. Just start. Every time you choose presence over impulse, you win. Every time you stop chasing and sit in the fire, you return. Every time you say no to the system, your soul gets louder. And that is your greatest weapon. Not motivation, not perfection, but the quiet decision to stay awake. You don't owe them your time, your attention, your energy. Take it all back, step by step, day by day. You don't need to be better, you need to be free. And the moment you truly choose freedom, the system loses. We're sure you've discovered plenty of value, so subscribe now and stay connected.